Welcome back, real estate fans. Alice Lima here, broker John L. Scott, Southern Oregon, with one of my favorite podcasts, Happy Hemp Day. We're here with Mark Taylor with the Southern Oregon Hemp Co-op, and we're going to get an update on what's going on in Southern Oregon hemp land, the great, the not so great, what's coming next. We just love our updates with Mark. So Mark, so here we are. It's early May. It's coronavirus. And you're going to tell us what's going on with the hemp co-op. Bring us up to date, dude.
Okay, well, nice to be here, Alice. Thanks for always having the Happy Hemp Day. It's kind of the pinnacle of my week because we call it Happy Hemp Day. Wish that I carry that to indicate that all things are good, and in Happy Hemp Land here we have nothing but positives. But you alluded to the coronavirus, and undoubtedly it has put a damper on the sales of our product, and it was already stalled because a few buyers and a lot of supply, a lot of product. So we're down probably another 2 weeks as far as our shipments go to out of state, going to Denver, Colorado, and they got affected by the coronavirus, and the CDC came into that plant and shut it down and said they had to sanitize and do certain separation and rearrange their factory. So that's real, and that did not.
So did they get all that done?
There should be another week. It was just last week that I talked to the main broker that is involved in our co-op here and is doing the shipping, and he said it was 2 weeks at that point. So that means there's another week that they're down. And that really, we had a 150,000 pound order that was just deemed to go out.
Oh, wow.
And that got stymied. So once again, you add it up. We talked about it, Alice, between weather, between the oversupply, and now the coronavirus. It has been challenging. There's no reason to dodge it. 2019 was a challenging year for our biomass and flower here in the valley.
Well, so this is a reminder that farming is not always easy. And farming is not only a business, but it's an act of love, right? And you got to stick with it, boy. You've got to have some persistence to make it. And I still think that the people in Southern Oregon that stick with it, they will have a good business and it will be profitable. Don't you think so?
Yeah, the microclimate, the designation that we received from the industry as a whole will stand. And that, for your new viewers, Southern Oregon hemp and generally the Northwest, if placed right, you have to grow with intelligence. Once again, it doesn't change the fact that we have the best climate for growing hemp in the world, bar none. And remember, that comes from competing states. Daily, I talk with Kansas, Pennsylvania, Virginia. I'm in very good talks with a co-op out of New Mexico. And these are very progressive, strong growers with products. And they're coming into, I can make this announcement, Alice. You're going to hear it first on Happy Hemp Day.
On Happy Hemp Day, yay.
Now, have they been totally vetted? No, but I'm talking about a 2-hour-long conference call with our board and the members of the New Mexico Hemp Co-op. They want to follow our model. They want to fly our Golden Tractor banner and unite under one roof.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and listen to this. At the time, Virginia just called me announcing the same thing, asking if our co-op would help them get theirs off the ground. And of course, it's my interest to have us unite under some central themes as both buyers and sellers of the greatest plant in the world, the hemp plant. And so I'm really excited about that news. And
congratulations. And you heard it here first, folks. Congratulations. We have crossed state lines with the co-op banner under the Southern Oregon Hemp Co-op. That is such a big deal. Congratulations.
Yes, they have just one little adder there. They have a skincare topical. I shouldn't say skincare, but some type of topical product that they're developing, and they have a total life, what they call a life prosperity package that they're going to introduce to us, and I hope it's good. I really believe his name's Ian, and I can say that, and I hope Ian is watching.
We're going to send this to Ian. He may not know it's coming. We're sending him the link.
You'll get to see me live here.
Hi, Ian. Your new friends.
Behind you, Ian.
That is so exciting. Okay, so the other states, don't have quite the climate we do, and they don't have the, we jokingly call it the 45th parallel, right?
Correct.
So, but they're still producing. How are they doing with the coronavirus? Because they have the same issues, don't they?
Yeah, that would be a parallel. You know, I guess I can say this. We've heard it time and time again that out of a crisis, sometimes a silver lining can be found. And I did not believe that when I heard that 2 months ago. I was glad that in my, I have another business, I think, as I've alluded to, I'm a general contractor also, Alice, and it did affect it. It slowed things down to some degree, but at least I'm viewed essential, and so I can continue to work. And so about the first 2 weeks, I was kind of despondent because it's a shutdown, right? And
Right.
friends were coming to me. We have family in the salon business and in the massage therapy, medically trained folks that work with professionals. All those businesses are shut down, as you know. So where's the silver lining? And I don't know that I can speak for each and every business, but I do know I feel like a little bit in the co-op. I've come up with better ideas. We're trying to hone those ideas. We're spending a lot more time, of course, being inside or being in the office.
Right.
Phone here, asking people for their perspective, networking, grouping together, and really determining a way that we can come out of this as better marketing people, better responders to all of our farmers' needs, and really sharpen our business game, if you will. And I see some of that happening. I do see a pent-up energy, and when we get clear of this, I see people going back to work in a diligent, and of course we'll be happy, and just through enthusiasm, I think that there's a lot to be said for that. So I'm looking for some positives, and in the transition, I just hope that we all are safe and practicing safe distancing and proper hygiene and whatnot.
Well, and today we just, like, literally an hour ago, got the announcement that Governor Brown is beginning to soften our stay-at-home orders. So one of my questions, I was so happy that we were going to talk today, was how does that affect the labor and the getting ready for the hemp planting? Because that's what we're getting ready to do in the next 30 days, right? And then we can start having some of our big buyers come through and look at the farms and the plants and start putting in their orders, right?
Right. Yeah, that was kind of the question about what the change will, what kind of change will occur as a result of Governor Brown's latest statement, and as well, how is that affecting the farmers and the big and small right now? Well, first off, I applaud anything. I think that it's a little bit too little, too late for some businesses, but especially the restaurant business. But the co-op labor force and personnel, I think, has been lined up for some time, and farming. Even though hemp, sadly enough, I just a few days ago got off the phone with Senator Merkley's wife, and consequently, we don't, as hemp farmers, we are not able to get the emergency stimulus money.
Why is that?
Hemp is not viewed as just because still, I didn't realize that, but both the DEA and the FBI still view hemp as a class 1 narcotic.
No, really? I thought we were past that.
No, it's still and I don't know why they would use that, because money and farming of hemp, your emotional reaction to that statement that I just made was totally correct, because it's just so disheartening to not get help for an industry that will someday, I think, reinforce small businesses. We've discussed on other podcasts, and I think that it is the heaven sent for many of our farmers, but we could really use it. It was only $10,000, as you're aware. It was to help with labor, and we're legitimate farmers. Hemp is just for textiles, doggy treats, skincare, medicines, pharmaceuticals, on and on and on. And why, being those 4 idioms that I just mentioned, they're so important. All of them are animals, and not just doggy treats, but our animal husbandry, llamas, horses, joint pain. We're trying to move fast and get these products produced. And every time they take a farmer or a small business out of it, by kind of saying, oh, hemp industry, for example, is not approved for the stimulus because you guys, quote unquote, still have a class 1 narcotic, and you know
Oh.
you're growing that. So really, really crazy. It doesn't make sense. But I think as we find that we look into government, sometimes we're very disappointed because they give us a start, then they say stop, then they say take one step back. The farm bill that we discussed on the last podcast was, I think, so revealing as to how they come up with a change in the farm bill on the implementation of the total THC. Very hurtful, wrong timing. So anyway, we're trying to move forward right now under some difficult situations, and I think we're doing so. From the farmers that I talked to, they're going to be growing this year. We're doing so in a most prudent way, with a clearer mind as to what we need to do to produce higher yields, higher CBD, and low THC biomass.
So, has anything changed in the regulation of how, what, like the percentage of THC? Because they had it regulated at kind of a very strange level, but has that changed in the last couple of weeks, or are they still
No,
using those same numbers? And what was that number? Can you remind us again?
it's we operate on the THC. We still are under the Delta 9 through November, is my understanding. And
Through November 2020.
Yeah, to November
Okay.
20, and then we're going to the total THC. So they're going to combine the two elements. The two, one of them is not psychotropic whatsoever, but there you go again with government screwing up a basis that we had, and we were operating as as businesses that believe we could go forward with one basis. And of course, anytime that somebody pulls the carpet out from under you in farming, no matter what crop it is,
Right.
regulation is usually unneeded or unnecessary at this point. I wish they would have waited 3 years at least and to let us get a footing.
I was just thinking that, because don't they do that with some industries where they let them have like an incubation period? They do that with the technology companies. They do that with, all kinds of alternative energy and things like that.
And we weren't hurting anything. We weren't 0.3% as a total by weight of the psychotropical element of the THC. There was no way to get high or to alter the mind.
Yeah.
No negatives whatsoever. And remember, we talked about that. The United Nations does that standard at 1% per weight of plant. We're is designated at 0.3%, and suddenly that had to be construed differently, changed, altered, complicated.
Yeah.
There was other things on remediation, on testing. There was a lot of things to digest. I forget how many pages it was, but it was well over, I think, 50 or 60 pages of rules and regulations that changed or altered the current state.
Yeah, yeah. Well, going back to what's happening here in Southern Oregon and getting ready. So this is kind of early to mid-May. What should the farmers be doing, not only to get ready for their crop process, but also how should they be doing it so that we're following protocols for the coronavirus?
Okay. Well, I don't know that I'll be the bottom line or the last word on the coronavirus, but and this is kind of conflicting. Even though we did not, as farmers, qualify for the stimulus money, we're still viewed as necessary and essential as far as I'm concerned, because ag has been given an exemption.
Right. Okay.
So that doesn't mean that farm operations, so I don't get in any trouble here, don't have to practice social distancing, proper operation as far as hygiene and decontamination, as I just referenced on the one plant in Colorado. So my advice would be to contact your local health authority if you have, or health office with the county if you have any concerns whatsoever as to how to proceed safely with your farm operation. Because as much as we view it that some of it is extreme, I believe, my personal viewpoint, we don't want to get anybody sick. And I do agree with and believe wholeheartedly that social distancing with the coronavirus and wearing the proper respirator, I shouldn't say respirator, but mask, is well, should be heeded and would serve us all.
But just
So
for the logistics of getting plants in the ground and having labor, has the co-op discussed this yet, or is that going to be something you take up in your next meeting?
Yeah, that's something that I haven't been asked directly. One thing about the farmer, and once again, I can only hope, knowing many, I'll say you, as I'm looking out there into my viewers' land, the farmer is really, he's taking care of the land. He wants to take care of his farmer. These are responsible people.
Right.
Most of the people that come into farming didn't just start growing hemp this year. They grew grass seed, alfalfa, tomatoes, some other kind of product,
Mm-hmm.
and they're for the most part business people. Well, business people just like you and I, Alice, we're very sensitive to our employees. We don't want to get anybody ill,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have total faith that they will operate most of the uh, nuances. Most of the facets of farming are mechanized. The seeds go in by I forget the planting, the plant of the clones, how they're planted, but it's on a wheel.
Oh, so
And
there's not much human contact then with each other.
well, clarification there, on larger farms, it's more mechanized. On smaller farms, there is still a lot of hand planting on the 3,
Mm-hmm.
2 acre and smaller farmers. But you take one rows are generally adequate distance apart, and you can do every other row. So it's
Well,
really
and you're
not,
outside too, so.
yeah, you're outside, and it's not going to add that I see, and I've kind of studied the dynamic of the COVID virus as relates to farm operations, and it's so wide, so open, and well, you lose maybe an hour or so a day in some of the facets as you get inside of the transfer of the plants into during harvest season. That could be, but I just think because the buildings are usually large and the pathways can be established. I guess somebody told me they went into Walmart and everything is marked in rows and directions that you're supposed to go down and turn and come down the other aisle, and how they help maintain distancing. And
And boy, does it smell clean.
well, hemp will smell like hemp because it's a
Hemp will
very
smell like, but Walmart smells like bleach.
okay. Well, they have to do that for a reason,
They
and
do, they do. And I'm not being critical. It was
no,
just noticeable.
yeah, I'll bet.
So we got to get ready for the buyers tours because the buyers can come in June, which is a month. So we're looking at 30, 45 days away. We may have new protocols by then, but that's okay because we're ready. And we'll deal with the buyer tours of the farms, especially the Class A farms, as they come out and get ready to start touring the hemp product to get ready for the purchases.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's true. And hey, maybe I could, if I could take over your show here for a minute.
It's for you, dude. Go for it.
Oh, well, here's what I'd like to do. I'd kind of like to make my pitch out there to the viewers, and so here goes, Alice. If you are a large hedge fund, if you're an end user of hemp, or you want to extract, or interested in looking at our very high quality flower. Once again, we deem the Northwest as the 45th parallel, the Golden Grove region of the whole world as it applies to hemp. We'd love to meet you, greet you, give you a Class A tour of some of our premier operators, and explain to you, our end user and potential buyer, why we feel, although we know you have many choices in where you go to purchase hemp, we just feel like it's known the world around, and please check that out and verify it, that there's no better place in the world to buy high quality hemp than here in the Southern Oregon and Oregon regions. And as I say, we'll treat you fair, and we expect our farmers to be treated fair, but we know you feel comfortable in dealing with the Southern Oregon Hemp Co-op as far as that we have a new agreement. And then talking to Alice, I don't want to disclose it, but it's a very simple agreement where the co-op handles the transaction. And by the way, end user, who better to know the farmer and their quality and how we can serve and help you than a co-op operator or board member that deals daily with our farms, and will once again expose to you the complete benefits of attaining our fine biomass and flower here in Southern Oregon. And thank you, by the way, for just considering our hemp and dealing with our local farm community. And by all means, my number is open almost 24 hours a day. I hope you check them.
Better check with your wife first. but
I
he'll answer his phone a lot.
hours a night. But yes, I'm Pacific time, but my number is 541-601-5130, and I welcome any inquiries into the world's finest hemp.
Yeah, yeah, and you won't go wrong with Southern Oregon, and it's not just us being braggy. Other people in other states, point us out, and we're very proud of our awards. And we're a brand new industry, and it's going to just get better. So, yeah, so we're going to keep having these conversations. We're going to keep inviting people out to come and check out our product. And having a co-op is really the best of both worlds. You've got that personal touch, but you also have the scale. The size, you get the best of both. So it's very exciting, very exciting. So Mr. Mark, we're going to let you go. We're going to do this again. We are trying to do Happy Hemp Day every week, but both Mark and I have jobs. So we're going to set it up on a regular schedule. We hope to have you watch us every week now. Right, Mark?
Yep, and we're going to stay on point for all of our viewers, and we really thank you for tuning in too.
Yeah, and get us your questions, get us your comments. We're here for you. It's an educational process. It's also kind of a peek into an industry that's in its infancy. And we have the brains here, Mark Taylor of the Southern Oregon Hemp Co-op, who just is a wealth of information. We're so lucky to have him. So use him and get his info from him.
I'm here for you, farmers.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark. We'll be in touch again in another week. So here's Happy Hemp Day saying goodbye from the 45th parallel.
Bye.
Bye now. Okay.
I think that went good.
Yeah. I don't know how to stop the recording.
It went good. Bye, folks.